So, I'm changing up my winter project. That means that instead of working on the XS 1100 as I was planning to, I'm instead going to be working on the Bandit. Now, the reason for this is a couple weeks ago when I took the Bandit out for a drive, just to make sure everything's working, kind of get ready to get put away and kind of just tucked away for the winter. A couple things happened. Number one, it wouldn't stay running. Now, I know this wasn't a problem of gas, because I filled it up with gas before leaving. Anytime I would come to a stop and pull the clutch in and let off the throttle, it would just die instantly. And by the time that I got home, it got bad to the point that I couldn't keep it running at all, regardless of where the throttle position was. So, that's reason number one. Reason number two is when I took it out on this ride, an interesting circumstance happened. I ended up getting pulled over on it. Not in the traditional sense where a cop shows up behind you, flips on his lights, and pulls you over, but instead this time I was driving through my neighborhood, and I drove past a house that had a police car sitting out in front of it. And the cop was walking back to the car, and he saw me go past, and so I was in a cul-de-sac, so on my way back out of the cul-de-sac, I figured, you know what, there's no way I'm going to be able to outrun him, and I don't feel like outrunning him. I don't feel like running tonight. So I stopped behind the truck. The motorcycle died. I shut it off, took off my helmet, and he walks back and says, "What's going on?" I say, "Well, I figured I should probably stop and not make you chase me down." So he's like, "Why would I be chasing you down?" I named off a couple reasons, like the bike doesn't have insurance and it's not licensed, and I explained to him very quickly after that it was a project and I'm working on getting it running, and there's still little bugs to get figured out, but I was still in the testing and making sure that it was working. Now, I did this along with stopping instead of making him chase me down for a couple of reasons. If you cooperate with the police and you don't put up a big fight, and especially do not run, a lot of the times they will cut you some slack. Now, you can't just go whatever, do anything, just comply. You have to have a pretty good reason, such as the fact that I was testing and working on the bike. Now, the bike does not look complete. You can tell by the way it's running, the way it dies whenever I come to a stop. It isn't complete. And he could tell that, so right after I explained that was a project and it's a project I'm working on, that he said, yeah, I can tell, I can see what you're doing. And he said, well, I guess this will be your warning. So next time, just make sure you get a license, make sure you have the registered and you have insurance for it. So I got lucky, and this is not a how to get out of. This is a make it easier for yourself, and it'll be a lot easier for you than if you don't. So, got pulled over on the Bandit. The reason why I couldn't run at the time, which very quickly passed through my head, was because the left foot peg broke. The plate holding it on to the bike, attached to the frame, the part holding the peg broke, and so my peg is hanging by my brake cable. So, on top of having nowhere to stand, I also have no rear brakes, which would make running extremely dangerous. So, combination of the fact that the bike isn't running well, I have no rear brakes, and if I were to run, my foot would just be hanging off to the side, which is very dangerous and can lead to some pretty not good situations pretty quickly. So, I pulled over, talked to him, everything went well, and he sent me home. Upon getting home, bike wouldn't run. So I parked it, and it's been sitting outside in the storage ever since. But because of the fact that it's not working, and it's probably one of the closest bikes that isn't working to get working, since it has very little, if any, electrical work to do, which I don't like doing. I don't like electrical work. I decided that I wanted to fix the Bandit over the winter. So, there it is. Got pulled over on my Bandit, and I've decided to change my projects. Thank you all for watching. If this is your first time here, please consider subscribing. It really helps the channel. Also, likes, comments, all of those are very helpful. If there's something you want to see me do, let me know. Send me a comment. Leave a comment. Send me a message. I also have a Facebook page now, so if you'd like to, go subscribe to that. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.